What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another Heart Over Height episode. Today we're going to be discussing the top 20 must-see matchups during the first 2 months of the 2024-2025 NBA season. So if you do enjoy this video, do me a huge favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment down below your favorite matchup you're looking for this upcoming season. Is it Mavs Celtics going to defend the title and everything like that, or maybe someone else? So let me know in the comments down below. The first game that we have is Pacers-Knicks. Now, this is a good game, of course, as both teams went Eastern semifinals right there. Game 7 for both teams 5 months ago. So keep an eye out for this game. Of course, Halliburton versus Brunson. We saw the WWE matchup when they both performed for WWE. And obviously, it's going to be a great game. It's just heavy defense for the Knicks against heavy offense and speed for the Pacers. So as both teams also have grown and adapted, they know each other quite well, of course, going 7 games against one another. Next up here, we have the Thunder versus the Bulls. This is basically Alex Caruso being traded from the Bulls to the Thunder, and then Josh Giddey getting hope. We'll see if he gets his revenge against the Thunder for moving off of him. But might not be the greatest game, just as the Bulls are in a rebuild right now. The Thunder are more looking to win right now. It'll just be interesting to see how Josh Giddey performs and how Alex Caruso does against, their former teams. Next up here, we have Kings versus Lakers. I mean, it's DeMar DeRozan on a new team playing against the Lakers, De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. Sabonis does not lose to Anthony Davis. So, of course, it is just going to be LeBron and AD against Fox, DeMar, and then Sabonis there. So it should be a good game for sure, as these teams are both kind of competing to get out of the play-in area, as they both have been in the play-in area these last few seasons. It's been like 6 through 10, 6 through 11-ish for both squads, both looking to avoid that this year. Next up, we have the Bucks versus the Celtics. Now, this one, always kind of a good game to watch in the regular season. The Celtics, of course, coming off that finals run, and the Bucks going to be healthy now. Giannis will be back and healthy. They'll get a whole offseason of Dame and Giannis working together. So you'll see a good matchup there for Bucks versus Celtics. I also do think that this year, I know that I'm a Celtics fan and it might be a little biased, but this might be Jason Tatum's best season because of all the hate that he's received. So I think that these marquee games that he's got, these, against the Bucks or against the Sixers or against the Lakers, the ones on TNT or NBA TV, you're going to see those, like a guy like Jason Tatum, go out and dominate, in my opinion. Or even on the other side, a Dame or a Giannis go out and put on a show, because they're looking to get back to where they once were. Not Dame, of course, but Giannis. Next up, we have the Wizards versus the Hawks. Now, this is the number 1 overall pick versus the number 2 overall pick, Ricochet versus Alex Sarr. It should be a good matchup. Now, it's not going to be a super crazy, intense game that's going to make a lot of difference for playoffs, because both teams are kind of in an interesting area, as the Wizards are in a full rebuild for sure. The Hawks are just in a question mark of an area. If you guys remember when I listed the teams, I put the Hawks in what are they doing kind of category, just as what are they doing around Trae Young. Are they looking to build around him, or are they looking to trade him down the road? The less is more theory is the big question mark. Here we have Mavs versus Timberwolves. Now the Timberwolves are looking to get their revenge as they lost to the Mavericks here. I think Anthony Edwards could be a dark horse MVP candidate. That's something that I'll be releasing soon, is my predictions for these upcoming awards coming pretty soon here for y'all. But yeah, Anthony Edwards could be dark horse MVP as well. Luka, he made it to the finals. So, he's gotten over the hump, gotten to the finals. Now it's just, can you put together 4 more wins in the finals. So that should be definitely a good game. Again, more of an offense versus defense kind of game, just as the Pacers Knicks was. I think that this will be offense by the Mavs versus the defensive intensity of the Timberwolves. So that should be a really good game. We have another matchup here. This was of the Eastern Conference Finals, Celtics versus Pacers. Going to be a high-scoring game, you think, but of course the defense of the Celtics is pretty, if it's anything like it was last season, it is pretty dominant. But Pascal Siakam has played with this roster for the Pacers now for an extra offseason, so that should help out this roster be a lot better than they once were. And I'm expecting a little bit of a leap from, I know it mentions Benedict Mathurin down here, but I do expect a bit of a jump there for him, or some deals being made to where he can go on a roster that's going to allow him to kind of flourish. Next up, we have Spurs versus Thunder. I think that this is always going to be a good matchup every year. You're going to have Vic versus Chet, of course, and then just the Spurs getting better with guys like Chris Paul, Harrison Barnes, Stephon Castle. I think we're going to see someone like Stephon Castle, who's known for his defense, and really see what he can do on the defensive end against a guy like Shea. Now, of course, you can never stop a superstar like Shea, but containing him to not allowing him to explode is what I'm interested to see here. So, although, yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch Vic versus Chet, I also think it'll be interesting to see what Stephon Castle can do against those guards that are unique and just different than the rest of the league. You know, like Shea plays at his own pace. No one's going to speed him up. No one's going to slow him down, kind of thing. So, right here we have the Magic versus the Cavaliers. This is just going to be a good game. As they played each other in the playoffs this last season, you expect a guy like Franz Wagner to take another jump. You expect Paolo to take another jump as they brought in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope for that three-point shooting that can spread the floor for them. And then the Cavs, you look at, they just have another year, and they have a couple question marks as far as Darius Garland and what they're going to do with him. And same thing with Jarrett Allen, whether they're going to keep them around or move off of them. But they did re-sign Donovan Mitchell, and you know he's going to go out and go get a bucket. Right here we have Nuggets versus Timberwolves. Now the Nuggets did lose to the Timberwolves in the playoffs. Jokic going to go get his revenge, hopefully. We're looking for a great game. This is on ESPN as well, so it's going to be a big marquee matchup. And I'm interested to see how Jamal Murray bounces back after kind of having a rough series against the Timberwolves in the playoffs. Right here we have Sixers versus the Clippers. This is just Paul George's revenge. This should be a good game. If you are a sports betting person, you should take the over on points for Paul George that night. He is going to explode. I would expect something like close to a triple-double, honestly. I could definitely see something like that. Having guys like Maxey there, having Joel Embiid there, it gives a lot of pressure off of Paul George to go and create. He can be that third guy, and he could play a similar role to the way he played in Oklahoma City when he finished top 3 in MVP voting. That is when they had Westbrook, who took pressure off Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony, who took pressure off him as well. Here we have the Mavericks versus the Nuggets. Now, of course, this is going to be a great game because you've got a young guy like Derek Lively going up against Jokic, which Jokic is going to manhandle him for now. But then you have Luka going up against like Jamal, and then, getting the switches, like having Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr. on him at times. And then just seeing what Russell Westbrook can really do for the Nuggets here. So this is going to be an interesting game for sure. Could be a blowout though, as the Mavericks, as I've talked about before in the past, the Mavericks have been known as a team who starts off slow and then picks it up towards the end of the season, regular season. Right here we have the Knicks versus Sixers. Now this is just going to be a very physical game. This is going to be bruisers going at each other. They are not going to back down from one another. Both rosters are going to be towards the top of the East, and the skill gap there is not too far off. Yes, the superstar talent on the Sixers is greater than the superstar talent on the Knicks for sure, but the team chemistry and just the defensive mentality that they've built over in New York definitely trumps the defensive mentality that's in Philly. So that's going to be a really good game for sure. Here we have the Mavericks Warriors. It's just going to be like take the over on points because both teams are not going to defend well. They're just going to shoot a lot of shots, and there's going to be a lot of players, as well as this is the Klay Thompson revenge. Klay is probably going to go out there and say this is going to be like, just as I said about Paul George playing the Clippers, you should take the over on threes made and points for Klay Thompson Tuesday, November 12th for sure. Right here we have the Suns versus Timberwolves. this is something that, although it was a sweep, the Suns have gotten better. The Timberwolves, they have that defensive mentality as I talked about, but can they compete with that explosive offense that has had another year to create chemistry together? I think that it's going to be a fantastic game. I don't think if they played another 7-game series right like at this end of the season, it would be a sweep. I think that you would definitely have a closer matchup. Would the Timberwolves still win? I mean, I would still put money on the Timberwolves, but the Suns definitely would take a game or two. Right here, Nuggets versus Lakers is always a good matchup, as you have Anthony Davis guarding Jokic, and then LeBron just doing LeBron things. As well as it's a bit of a Russell Westbrook revenge tour because he gets to play against his former team, one of his former teams. Right here, Heat Celtics, always a great matchup as well, as these guys have battled in the playoffs time after time after time. The question is, though, is the Heat roster going to be able to compete with the dominant Celtics roster that we have right now? And will Jimmy Butler be this load management Jimmy Butler we've seen, or is he going to take this series and season seriously and play 70-plus games so he can make an All-NBA caliber team or something like that? Right here we have the Thunder playing the Magic. Of course, just two young teams going up against each other should be, and again, it's defense versus offense, defense of the Magic with the explosive scoring of the Thunder, who is actually a really good defensive team as well. Let's not forget their defenders in Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, J-Dub, players like that. We have Heat Magic here. I don't know if this is going to be a great game per se, because again, the more I talk about the Heat, the more I'm not impressed by them. I could see them kind of sliding with them falling out of the playoff situation. They're kind of banking on the fact that their young guys need to take another jump in Jaime Jaquez, which I believe he can. Nikola Jovic, which hopefully he can. Haven't seen a ton of him specifically. And then, of course, Tyler Hero taking another jump. And then who knows right here, whether they've made a deal or something because of the Jimmy Butler question mark. Raptors, Knicks, this would just be a revenge tour of Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett, but I don't think that they'll be able to compete with the defensive mentality of the Knicks themselves. So I don't know if that's a fantastic game, but that is our last game. So I think that it could be somewhat decent. So if you guys did enjoy this video, do me a huge favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment down below on your favorite game of this list. Is it Celtics Mavs rematch, or is it maybe Thunder Bulls or something like that? Let me know in the comments. So with that being said, guys, it's been another Heart Over Height episode, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.